Let you know, man, you are really encouraging me, motivating me, inspiring me. God is really using you to help me
What's
out.
going on, family? You guys are so amazing. I'm Mr. AOS Inspires. This is AOS The Podcast. I got something very interesting that I want to talk to you about on this episode. Listen, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go ahead and like, share, and comment, and share this podcast for me. Do me a big favor. I tell people this all the time. Never underestimate your influence, because there are some people that you're connected to that we're not connected to. With that connection together, we can empower the world to never give up. You already know our mission. Let's go. So I want to ask a serious question. Like, I want to dialogue with you guys in this episode seriously, right? I really got to ask this question. Have you ever asked yourself or said to yourself or made this statement, why am I in the same predicament year after year, week after week, month after month, day after day? Like you really asked yourself that. Like why haven't I like I've been listening to motivational speeches, I've been reading, I've been thinking that I've been applying myself. Listen, I'm trying to get over this hump. I've been trying to get my life headed in a totally different direction. I've been trying to be guided in the right way. I've been trying to change old habits. I've been trying to put away things that has been holding me back. I've even cut people loose that wasn't, compatible to my purpose. But it still seems as if I'm in the same predicament. Let me suggest this to you real fast. If that's you, I need you to glean me in just a little bit close and share this video with somebody, because millions of people feel like that. They feel as if they're stuck in the same place. But today I want to talk about finances. Many of you feel like, listen, I'm stuck in the same place financially and I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I want to be a millionaire, but I don't know what to do. This is what I want to share with you. I want to share this with you. And when I heard this, I said, I gotta do a podcast. Like, my followers, my listeners gotta hear about this. This is what I want to tell you. Raise your zero, period. Like, raise your zero. Let me break that thing down. Like, let me ask you a question before I break it down. What do you, and I need y'all to put this in the comments. Like, don't just be bougie today and just listen and soak it in. I need y'all to holler back at your boy. What is your zero, right? Like, what does broke look like to you? Like, when you look in your bank account and you see the number that's in your bank account, what does it really mean for you to be broke? I'm going to break this thing down. I promise you, I believe that this episode is going to change if you apply the principles that I'm going to tell you on today in this episode, I promise you, you're going to see a massive change in your life. If you apply it this week, next week, you're going to see a change in your life. I promise you. I promise you. But that's what I want to ask you real fast. What is your zero? What is your definition? When you look in your bank account, this is broke to me. Like, what number is it? Is it 200, 300? Is it zero? Is zero your zero? What's your zero? Now, I was talking to my best friend. I was hollering and talking to him, and we were chatting it up. And I said, bro, we need to raise our zero. Right? I'm going to be fully transparent. My zero before I got to the place where I am now, as I said, I promise you, if you apply these principles, it's going to change your life. My zero, right, in my bank account was zero. Like, that was my zero. And what happens is when your zero is zero, right? Now, I want to break this down because you already know our podcast. We talk about relationship, life, and entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs that really get to the bag, like me, really understands, like, hey, I'll spend $3,000 right here because I know I'm going to get it back. Like, and that's the hustler's mentality, but we have to change our mindset. Like, my zero was actually the zero. How much money? Zero, right? And until I heard this theory, and until I heard this understanding, it changed my life. Like, what is your zero? Right? Now, let me break this entry level down real fast. Most of you all zeros, just like mine was 2 weeks ago, my zero was zero. Many of you, your zero is zero. When you look in your bank account, if you have $100, right, you straight, you feel okay, right? And many of you, some of you are like, nah, that's not my zero. My zero is 5,000. Or some of you, my zero is 10,000, my zero is 20,000, my zero is 50,000. And it always come up in a conversation because I tell people this all the time. Wealthy people and broke people, their broke looks different, right? Because to a wealthy person, $500,000, $1,000,000, depending on their financial status, that's broke to them, right? Especially a person that's dealing with multi-millions in their portfolio and also in liquid, right? They look at it, now getting down to a million, like I'm broke. But to a broke person, a million, oh man, you balling. And what I want you to do is I want you to change your zero as you change your mindset. I need you to raise your zero. Let me talk to the low class, the middle class people, right? Zero in your bank account, you look at it like, I don't have no money. Zero, right? And many of you, if your zero is zero, what you will do is if you have $10 in your bank account, knowing that your zero to you is zero, right? You have $10 in your bank account and you want something to eat so bad. So instead of going to the grocery store, purchasing something that can last you for three days or whatever, getting something healthy, some fruit, something under $10, right? Many of you, because your zero is your zero, you would take that $10 and go to Chipotle and spend $7 on a bowl. Or many of you will go to Chick-fil-A and spend $8 on a chicken sandwich or some chicken nuggets. I want you to shift that thinking, because if your zero is zero, I'm going to break something else down to open your understanding. If your zero is zero, you don't mind seeing your bank account get to zero. Now, the damaging thinking of that, the damaging part of that thinking is that when your zero is actually zero, what will happen is you will spend every single dollar that you have. Why? Because your zero is zero. I need you to change it up your zero. Now, this is what I really want to break down to you. You don't have to jump from saying my zero is zero to my zero now is $10,000. No, I need you to be realistic. When I first started, I said, listen, my zero is going to be $400. My zero is going to be $500. And when you raise your zero, what that simply means is no matter what, I don't care if it's something I want, unless it's something I need to spend my money on. When I say need is, and some people will go to the extreme, but a need is a bill. A need is I need gas in my vehicle because I got to go make some money, or I got to go to work and I have to do this, right? Or I get to do this, however you want to look at it. That's my zero, 400. I started that. $400 is my zero. If I have $1,000 into my play account, right? And it gets down to 400, I'm broke. I have no more money. And what happens is you begin to build off of that, because the truth of the matter is this is what I want to share with you. For the people that are not getting $200,000, $300,000 a year, when you save up $1,000 or you save up $2,000, soon you get that saved up, something happens. The car breaks down. Guess how much it costs to get this fixed? $1,500. Guess how much it costs to get some new tires? $1,000. Right? And I don't understand. I'm gonna tell you this. I do understand. It's the way that we think. Why? Because if you think broke, you will operate in a broke manner. Period. The truth of the matter is, you don't have to be wealthy to not think in a broke manner. Right? Like many of you like, man, when I get $1 million, I ain't gonna think broke. Now, yes, you will. Because once you get the bag, since you haven't changed your mindset or since you haven't raised your zero, watch this. If somebody gives you $1 million today, that $1 million will be gone. I get it. You be like, listen, I'm gonna be a good steward. I'm gonna do right by that $1 million. No, you won't, because you won't do right by $100. You won't do right by $5. And that's the damaging part about it all, because even in little money, you don't steward it well. Even in little money. I ain't talking about no big money. I'm talking about little money you don't do right by it. Little money. So imagine when you get big money, or if you get some big money, $1 million, $100,000, let's say $10,000, right? You're going to blow it. Why? Because your mindset hasn't shifted and you haven't raised your zero. I need you to raise your zero. Like, listen, this week, I need you to start this week. Let your zero be 100. And I get it. Some of you are not entrepreneurs and you get paid every 2 weeks. But when you get your check, let your zero be 100. Just start with that. Or if you like, listen, bro, I don't make that much. Okay, cool. Let your zero be 20. Let your zero be 50. Like, start somewhere. But what I want to tell you, if you get paid every 2 weeks, I want you to start raising that zero every 2 weeks. And watch how much of a difference your life will be. Now, when I say raise that zero, this is pertaining to everything. People asking you for money, right? Because many of you, and that's what I was sharing with my best friend, because he's the type of guy that to his last, he will divide his last to give to somebody to help somebody. Now, I'm not saying don't be charitable, don't help people, but you have to be understanding that if you keep on helping people, eventually you're going to go broke. You can't help the world. The poor will be amongst us always. Why? Because they haven't raised their zero, or their thinking is totally different. Like you're privy to listen to this message, and I want you to digest this message, right? Because you're going to raise your zero, and you're going to see your life change. I promise you. Holler back at me next week. Let me know. Listen, I did that last week, and I raised my zero, and my life has changed. I promise you, your life is going to change. Because the reason your life is going to change, because you're going to look at money differently. Okay, my zero is $300. Okay, once I get to $1 before 300, I'm done. I'm broke. Nah. And what's going to happen is your zero is going to be one number, but you don't want to get close to that number. So in essence, what you're going to do is you're going to think about all the purchases that you make before you get to your zero. Now, before, when your zero was zero, you wouldn't mind going, you got $500. You wouldn't mind spending up to having $200 in the bank. I'm cool with that. $200, I'm cool. That's my safety net. Cool. But then what's going to happen is you can start chipping into. Listen, I tell people now, the $100 is like the new, the 100 is the new $20 bill. $100 don't last. $100 is nothing. Take $60 to fill my tank up. The $100, I'm not saying it's nothing, like, it's nothing. No, I'm not saying it like that. But what I am saying is, in this world that we live in now with inflation, it does not hold much value. Soon it's just like, remember I used to break a 20 and like, man, my money gone. Yeah, once you break 100, it's out of here, right? But when you begin to raise your zero, what will happen is, your mindset will begin to shift. Why would your mindset shift? Your mindset will shift. Why? Because number one, I don't want to get to my zero, my new zero, which is 300. I don't want to get to my new zero. Like, I want to see this money in the bank, because this is the thing. Think about this. When your zero is zero, what can you spend after that? Nothing. Nothing. Like, you really can't. Suppose something come up that was $50 that you really needed to get today, and your zero was zero. You can't get it. Right? Now, what I really want to share with us is, once you begin to raise your zero, you will handle your credit cards, you will handle your credit, you will handle your finances a lot differently. Why? Because I'm not spending everything that I have in the bank. And what's damaging is, many of you spend everything that you have in the bank, and when it's time to produce in a relationship, you can't. Why? Because your zero is zero, and it's not about finances. This is way deeper than finances. When you don't mind spending every single dollar that you have in your bank, it pours over in other areas of your life. Period. That's real talk. If you don't handle finances well, chances are you won't handle a relationship well. You won't handle breakup well. You won't. It's certain aspects of your life. I tell people this all the time. I heard this quote. I don't know who said it, but I loved it. I'm going to take it for myself. How you do anything is how you do everything. Period. Close the door. I'm done. How you do anything is how you do everything. All right? Raise your zero. Stop letting your zero be zero. Stop letting it be zero. Why? Like, I need you to raise that thing. And once you raise your zero, you will begin to see your life change for the better. Like, why would you want your zero to be dead zero, right? Once you raise your zero and say something comes up that's $20, $30, whatever, you will have it in the bank when you need it. What's worse is needing something and not having it. What's best is having something and not needing it. I love you guys, man. I hope this episode was helpful to you guys. Listen, what I want you to do is I want you to raise that zero. And once you raise your zero, you'll see your life go to another level. And then watch this, for real. When you raise that zero, don't just raise it and just leave it there for months or weeks or days. Like for real, each week or however your finances come in. If you get paid every day, raise your zero every week. If you get paid once a month, raise your zero once a month. Like for real, like start. And I promise you, you'll see yourself holding on to your check long. And then eventually you'll be like, listen, I got this excess money. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to start investing into some stuff and making more money. Everything you see on Facebook, everything you see on Instagram, everything you see on TikTok is not a scam. But when you're broke and you haven't raised your mindset, you're going to think every financial thing. People say that you can get some money like this. You can get $1,000 a month. You get $10,000 a month like this. You think it's a scam. Why? Because you don't got it. I'm gone. Notice people with resources, people that have money, they are willing to try new things and take risks. Because risk comes along with making money. When you make money, when you're an entrepreneur, you're making money, it's a risk involved. Especially when you're day trading, it's a risk. You may win, you may lose. People that get the bag, that want to live or live on the next level, have taken risks. Anybody that's playing it safe, they may have a cool life. They may have a stable and steady life. But I guarantee you they're not living at the level that they really. If people will really be honest, that's living decent, like that's living okay, and you broke, and you look at their life, you're like, man, they're living good. If they would be honest, they're not living on the level that they really want to live on. I promise you. Who wants to live? And I'm going to just tell you this because it kills me when people say, I don't want to be rich. I just want to be, it kills me. You're lying. Because who wants to live like, nah, I can't get it this week. I'll wait till next week. Or your car breaks down. You got to wait 2 weeks to get it fixed. Who wants to live like that? No, listen, I'm going to tell you this. If you're comfortable living like that, I have no need to be connected to you, period. And that's real. I don't want to be connected to people that finds it okay to be broke. Raise your zero. Raise your zero. Like really, really think about that. Who wants to live in a way where, listen, I can't afford it this week, but next week I got you. No, I want to get it right now. I need a camera. I want it right now. I need a phone. I want it right now. Why? Because I put myself in position. And many of you have become comfortable with the lifestyle that you have. Why? Because you have not put yourself in position to win. So you become comfortable losing. I'm out of here. This is Aos The Podcast. Let's go.